Hello and welcome to Friendboys Music Therapy, the podcast where each week there's an album and we're listening to it.
We sure are. And this week it is Coldplay's Everyday Life.
Everyday Life by Coldplay. Is there anything we need to know about the record?
No, first we're going to hear the intro.
Nice.
Hello.
Nope.
This is Friendboys Music Therapy. Take a seat and wish a shot light.
And we're back.
Are we back? Oh, so good. Mm-hmm. So, is there anything we need to know? Who brought to us? Who?
This album was brought to us by Parlophone and Atlantic Records.
Thank you for getting that out.
You're so welcome. This is their approximately seventh album.
Eighth
album.
Eighth studio album.
They released their first album in 2000. Did you know that?
That was what, 19 years ago?
Yeah, approximately.
Quick maths.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. Interestingly, it seems to be more so, at least on some of the tracks, more so like some of their older stuff than a lot of their more recent albums. They may have come full circle. Let's talk about
Interesting
it.
take.
Let's
Interesting
talk about
take.
it. There was one thing I wanted to add.
Please do.
Two things, actually. The album was launched via two separate live streamed performances on YouTube. And these performances took place on a rooftop in Amman in Jordan. Have you seen these?
Yeah, I've seen bits of it. Yeah.
So there's a sunrise and sunset performance, and those are the two halves of the album. It's like a double album.
Yeah.
If you're interested, after having listened to this podcast about the album, I definitely check those out because they're actually really, really well done. Beautiful scenery, really well shot.
And if I've watched the right ones, we're talking choirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good songs. Anyway,
second important thing is Chris Martin came out to this week, about a week ago, saying that Coldplay won't be touring until they can figure out a way.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
Until they can figure out a way to tour without it being
carbon positive.
Yeah, without there being like a carbon footprint.
Exactly.
So he's like, it'd probably take us over a year to figure this out, but he wants to somehow organize a sustainable tour, which people made fun of him. It's a bit of a, Chris Martin thing to do, but it is actually
true.
Yeah, but it is actually like a pretty awesome thing that they're like trying to make the effort for.
Absolutely.
They're definitely in the position to be able to do that. A lot of musicians who are maybe struggling or don't have the financial security that they have won't be able to make that decision because, it's touring is a huge part of the livelihood of most musicians.
Yeah.
However, they're in a position to do something, and they are, which is,
I'm not criticizing whatsoever.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
Sure.
I wonder if their Jordan performance was carbon neutral.
Yeah, didn't seem to be, but you never know.
I never know.
I actually don't know. So, anyway, should we wrap it up and head into musical musings?
Let's do it. I can't wait.
Nice. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, musical musings with me.
Musical musings.
Oh, yes. Okay, so bring it right down. Bring the energies levels right down here with the first track on the album called Sunrise. It's a very beautiful piece.
It's
instrumental.
Lovely. I actually, because that's the first thing you hear when you turn on, when you listen to the album, and I genuinely thought I had clicked on the wrong thing.
Yeah, right.
It is surprisingly beautiful and atmospheric. Anyway.
Yeah, it's an orchestral piece. It's credited as being written by the guys from Coldplay and also a guy called Davide Rossi, who's a violin and strings player. Anyway, it seems like he's pretty much done the whole thing, and it's really beautiful, and it sounds like this. Man, that is, I first listened to the song by myself, like having just woken up in the morning, and that was exactly what I wanted to hear. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much credit the band gets for that or this other dude, but anyway, I thought it was a really beautiful way of starting the record.
Couldn't agree more.
And as the concept is sunrise, it works. Anyway, next track is called Church. This is probably the most Coldplay sounding song I've ever heard that is on I guess since their original stuff, what is it?
Yellow.
Yellow and what's that other song? Shooting Stars, Tracks, Shooting Lights, Clocks.
Clocks. The scientists fix you.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the most Coldplay song on the record. It sounds like this. Like these guys are just like soft rock personified. Like that's kind of like bit of a like
upbeat production though, I would say, in comparison to their older stuff.
Yeah, but like that, you know, the kind of like slightly cool drum beat, but like actually it's just a really like kind of wussy sound, and then him just going on high.
Sure, yeah, I gotcha.
A song called Church. It was all right. Next, there's a song called Trouble in Town. And this track actually gets kind of interesting, and they use it sounds like it's from maybe a video. You know how there's like not candid, but like those like phone videos of police abuse. It sounds like that. I had a bit of a look to see what it was from. I couldn't find it, but it's a really interesting moment. And
I think that's exactly it. I read that it was one of those situations exactly.
Yeah. But the music really like sets it up super nicely, and it's very cinematic. And it goes like this.
Is that X your middle name?
Of course, that's a motor vehicle ID, right?
You getting smart because you'll be in the fucking car with him. You fucking smart ass. I'm asking you, what the X is? Is that your middle name?
Of course, what is it?
Don't come back with the what is it fucking shit. Talk to these fucking pigs on the street that way. You ain't talking to me that way.
I don't talk to nobody in the street. I don't hang with nobody.
Well then don't come to fucking Philadelphia strangers. Everybody thinks they're a fucking lawyer and they don't know jack shit.
Like this, no.
Grab you up, I'll grab you any way I got to.
You're not protecting me.
So intense, so intense, and it gets more and more so from there. And like for an album that is, you know, they're huge, and they can afford to kind of play around a bit with different styles and genres and stuff. This album goes a lot of different places.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that
and it's quite brave in its choices.
Yeah, and I mean, brave, yes, but they can afford to be brave. If you see what I mean, like they don't really have anything to prove, so like they can kind of do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, I thought again like a really interesting point in the album, and like really brings you into the record. Moving on from that is a song called Broken, and this is like a pretty classic, I guess, gospel, U.S. Christian type track.
Which again to me is bringing in quite a risky influence, because it's not something I've really heard them do before. Like it seems to me like a completely new thing that he's just taken on, and he talks a lot in this album about faith, and I think that this is the musical representation of that.
Well, there's a couple of things on the record that are very like faith based. I want to play the thing, and then we'll kind of get into the discussion about it later. But one of the interesting things is this is him singing with a gospel choir or a gospel group.
Yeah.
And it just highlights how average his voice really is. Unless it's like that Coldplay music really suits his voice and that his style. But when you put him with these singers, it just kind of sounds like a kid amongst like professionals. Anyway, here it is, Broken.
Shine a light, shine a light, shine a light. And I know that in the darkness I'm alright. I'm alright. No sun rising, but inside I'm free. 'Cause the Lord shine a light on me, shine a light on me.
And we've talked about this before. More like so much in the Kanye one as well. Like gospel music is always going to get you a pass mark.
It's so good.
It just makes you feel.
What is
so
happening
good.
with this revival of gospel in like pop? It's
it could
all
be
for it.
It could be that people don't feel connected to their communities anymore.
I think that's exactly what it is.
And maybe people are searching for a way to connect with each other. And gospel music has been that for many years.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
You come to the right place for the lowdown on what's happening
In the world.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's mix it up again
Whoa.
with a song called Arabesque.
Oh,
And this track has a really awesome groove. The best groove on the record. Features a guy called Femi Kuti, who is the eldest son of Fela Kuti, who is one of the pioneers of like Afro beat music and very famous musician. Anyway, so this guy plays the saxophone, and then also there's a guy called Stromae, who's a Belgian pop star who has a verse on the record. But yeah,
That's the French speaking.
yeah. But here it is, Arabesque. It's awesome groove. Yeah.
So
And
much fun.
Jake will get into the lyrics later. But like, so far I've played you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks, and they've all been so different,
Yeah.
which doesn't always work.
No, and weird parallels to the 88 Rising album we did, where I feel like it's quite a successful portrayal of many different kinds of music from different places all around the world.
Yeah, but
which
it's one
makes-
band.
Sorry?
But it's one band.
Yeah, but it makes it a really fun listen. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not, there are a couple of dull moments maybe towards the end of the record where there's a couple of songs that are just like the classic Coldplay songs.
Yeah.
Which I got to be honest, I'm not a big old school Coldplay fan. My favorite things that they've done have been some of the more recent albums.
Yeah, I
which
think we
is
disagreed on
exactly
that.
the opposite to what
Yeah.
most people would say.
Yeah.
2 more songs I want to play. One is Orphans, which is like definitely the banger of the record. And guess who wrote it with them and produced it?
I've not got a clue.
Max Martin.
Oh. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell the listener who Max Martin is. He's the most celebrated pop writer of our and his generation, I
Yeah.
suppose. Anyway, this is the banger on the record. It's called Orphans, and it goes like this.
Bombs going boom, 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 boom. You see.
I want.
Woo, woo. And it's got the like shout chorus and everything. There's a really cringeworthy moment on the live performance of this record in Jordan where they've got like a renter crowd, I guess, or like
or
fans,
run-
and they like run in and they're like singing along and stuff like that. It's
I can't help but get caught up in the joy of that song, though.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. There's something about it. The first time I heard it, I was not that into it. But the more I've listened to it, the more I've just accepted that I just enjoy it every single time.
Yeah.
And I read this thing that he said about it, where he said, Chris Martin talking about the song and why they chose to release it first. He said, the song is very unafraid of itself. It's confident in itself. And I really like that about it. And it is. It speaks for itself. It's quite a like
It's a
loud.
pretty arrogant way of talking about your song, but it is.
I guess
but it
so.
works. Yeah, I guess if you're right, then it's not arrogant. But
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a collaboration, like you said, with a bunch of people. But I do like that it is like just an unashamedly sort of joyous song. Interestingly, that chorus about "I want to know when I can go and get drunk with my friends again" apparently is got quite a different tone, and I like this take on it, where he's actually talking about kids stuck in detention centers, immigrants that have not made it, and so it's about them yearning for sort of
like a
being
normal
free.
life.
Being a normal life. And rather than presenting this image of, people being like stuck in cages and that it's all desperate, he's just basically saying like they're kids that want to go and be having fun with their friends. And I like songs like that have
Layers.
it has layers. Yeah. It's cool.
Well, I mean, I suppose this might be a good time to bring up this kind of feeling that I had when listening to the album, which may or may not be fair. It was like it's an album that brings in a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they chose to launch it in Jordan is significant.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the song that they led with is Arabesque, which is this crossing of musical divides. sort of thing.
Totally. So
Yeah.
there's Middle Eastern influences,
Yeah.
African influences. Songs like Echo have really like African rhythms and guitar parts. It
As
has
well as like, Christian American, what's that song? Anyway, yeah.
like gospel music,
Gospel
and they've got
music,
blues music.
Yeah.
They've also got like a choral choir piece from I believe an English church in there.
And like we played at the start, a classical Italian.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's literally,
So there's a whole range of cultures and a range of religions, and the album is about like spreading love and positivity, I think.
I agree. Yeah.
But it comes across and like I hate voicing these opinions. I hate trying to like nitpick at things, but I guess that's what we're here to do. Like it comes across as like a very like kind of like white Christian way of like trying to be like saving the world, which like I would rather somebody do something than nothing and then do it not perfectly. Like I think we talked about this with the Taylor Swift thing. Like she was trying to make a political statement. She did it imperfectly, maybe arguably more so than this. It's, I guess, is maybe yet to be seen. Or
I would argue strongly that she did a really bad job of it, and Chris Martin does a really good job of it on this occasion. I totally pick up what you're putting down because I find his presence in general kind of just a bit annoying, but that's fine. But I, like you said as well, like I'd rather someone did something, and I do think this album is pushing all the right things, and is sharing cultural experiences that I wouldn't probably have experienced otherwise.
Yeah, and
it's cool,
and it's in a weird way, it's not very egocentric the way that he's done it. Like he's got records where he, like,
as opposed to Taylor Swift. Sorry,
like he's not not singing on any of it. It's completely played and orchestrated by someone else.
Yeah.
There's another track which is weirdly like I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's like a famous poet in Arabic read by Alice Coltrane, who's a famous American jazz musician. And then I guess the band is playing some music behind it, but Chris Martin really has nothing to do with it. So it's like, it's like a very inclusive record in that sense. Yeah. So I'm reluctant to
it's kind of a cool thing to do, to use his name, use the band's name for this purpose. I think that's what's admirable about that. Yeah.
One last thing, actually two. There's a song called Cry Baby, which was a track that I really, really enjoyed every time it came on.
Yeah, I thought,
They collaborated with a guy called Jacob Collier, who is quite a well-known young jazz pianist and arranger, which is interesting because this doesn't sound like any of his music. But it's also this song seems to rip off heavily an old Janis Joplin song, which was written by these two guys. Sorry, let me just find the name. Bertrand Burns, who wrote like Everybody Needs Somebody. He wrote a whole bunch of hits, and a guy called Jerry Rogovoy. Anyway, those two have been actually credited as writing this Coldplay song. So I think they maybe wrote it and were like, ooh, actually this is really close to that other song. So they put those names in. They've obviously kind of deal with the publishing company because those two guys are dead, I think.
Right.
Anyway, long story short, this song is called Cry Baby, and I think it's a good song.
Cry, 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 baby. When you cry, cry, cry. When you cry, 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 baby. Woo. I'll be by your side.
And again, a completely different genre, but
I'm glad you liked that one as well, because I liked it too. And I didn't know whether I was just feeling, I've been sick this week and feeling a bit vulnerable. So I was thinking maybe I was a bit open
like a
to
bit of a crybaby.
Yeah.
Last thing is from the song When I Need a Friend. I can't remember. I think this is the song that was recorded in a church with the church choir. And I just wanted to play it because it's really beautiful and it's worth listening to.
I agree.
Here we go. This is it from me. It's like coming up to Christmas time, and that really just hit me in the right spot.
I agree. I totally agree.
And the rain, oh man, so good. Yeah, and that was worked on with someone who's well known as like a classical arranger, and just like really the people they got to work on this record, and I don't know what to say. Like it's
I just think it's really worth emphasizing that I do think that they like putting stuff like that on a record for a pop rock band, let's just call them that, whatever.
Yeah.
Is a risk. I do think it's risky, and I think it's really cool that they did it, and I liked it. I think it really paid off.
Yeah, interesting. All right, that's it for me. You're welcome. You're all very welcome.
I think
Welcome to
that's-
the jungle.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
All right, welcome back. We are now up to the section called Clangers. Now, if you haven't...
What an album for it.
I know, right? Full of them. If you haven't seen this podcast before, this section is purely designed for me to make fun of the lyrics. Regardless of whether I like the album, regardless of whether the album is good or not, I make fun of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Everyone good? All right. Let's hear the jingle.
You could feel people like, they're so mad already. Thought of it.
Accidentally played the wrong sample. Let's hear the correct one.
Nice.
Clangers.
All right.
All right, let's get started.
Yes.
The first one is from the song WOTW/POTP. I forgot to write down what that stands for, but it's like War of the Worlds.
Weight of the, something like Wonder of the World, Power of the People.
It is Power of the, yeah, right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
This is a little song that Chris Martin has just done off the cuff. It's not written down. No, it actually isn't. No, it's not. It's Dale's favorite clanger, I think, judging from what he heard beforehand. And it's just him having a go. And they just decided to include it. Big mistake. This is it.
Turn this up.
Oh, man.
Oh, I love that from Chris.
It's a prime clanger.
Huge.
Just in case you didn't hear it, which you didn't, he said, "Our world tonight, get it right. Holding on to the steeple, our world tonight."
Love it.
So yeah, probably some placeholders in there because it is an impromptu song, but it's pretty fucking funny.
Just a genius mind at work. ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen.
That's what it sounds like. Unadulterated. All right. The next one is from the song Arabesque. Now, I've already said I like this song. I do. The theme of this song is basically described by the motif that he keeps repeating. We share the same blood. It's about we're all one, essentially. The opening lines of this song, though, put that just a little bit too plainly, in my humble opinion, to the point where it sounds a little bit dumb, for lack of a better word. Anyways, let's hear it.
Let's have it.
I could be you could be me. Two raindrops in the same sea. You could be me. I could be you.
Two angles of the same view. Oh, yeah.
What could it mean? You get the picture. Not the best, not the most subtle lyrics, but anyways.
Sometimes you just got to tell it straight.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to tell it from two angles from the same view.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that makes sense. Anyway, moving along swiftly.
How could it be the same view if it was two different perspectives? Right? Yeah, anyway.
There is something about the start of the song Guns, which again, I don't hate at all. It's actually quite a nice meaning song. It's talking about the ridiculousness of we need more guns of the gun crisis in America. The first line, it just gets me.
Yeah.
And it's the last word.
It made me laugh so much.
I know, man. It's funny. It's funny.
Take it from the playgrounds and take it from the bums. Take it from the hospitals and squeeze it from the slums.
It's like a really serious protest song.
Yeah. Take it from the
bums.
Take it from the bums. I also don't know what he's talking about in the context of the song. Take it from the playgrounds, take it from the bums, take it from the hospitals, and squeeze it from the slums.
Take it from us, this is the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Take it from me, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that
it is.
Yeah, that could well be it. Yeah, for sure. It just
from the bum.
Bum. Yeah, I don't know. And there's also always that thing about somebody talking about the slums and stuff, and it's dude, you're worth
what do you know about the slums?
Yeah, right. Anyway, that makes me laugh. And this is a short clangers section this week, I will admit, because I think this album is exceptional lyrically. So remember that before you.
Exceptional lyrically.
Yeah, I really do. However,
Yeah.
there is a play. Sorry, I've just lost my notes and realized that we have two more. So this isn't the last one. Echo. This has this like resemblance to me of like the whole English royal family saving Africa vibe, and like being like talking about how well they know Africa and their experience there and how it's so beautiful while it's like in poverty. And this just I don't know. It reminds me of that. Let's see if you think the same. From Echo.
In Africa, the rivers are perfectly deep and beautifully wide. In Africa, the mothers will sing you to sleep and say it's alright, child, it's alright.
Yeah, so that for me is one of those moments where we were talking before about how he used the platform of Coldplay to introduce a lot of other people. And I think maybe that was a good opportunity to have someone else,
Maybe from Africa.
potentially from Africa, talk about how African mothers are so
and how
loving.
beautiful the rivers were.
Right, yeah. Just a little fun bit.
That lyric actually, the rivers are the perfectly deep and beautifully wide, is actually like, for me, that's my type of lyricism. I absolutely love that.
Sure.
But maybe from the wrong mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And it's got, that song has like this really, there's a South African band that I like called Beatenberg, and it's got that really like Afrobeat thing with a really happy guitar playing and stuff like that. So it's definitely influenced by that. As you say, it could have been a good moment for
Yeah. Somebody else to sing
Somebody
about
else,
their African mother. And finally, from the song that has the word champion in it, that I can't remember the full name because I've deleted it.
Champion of the World.
Champion of the World. Which I know is a heartfelt rendition to the former singer of Frightened Rabbit. And it's quite a nice dedication. Mm-hmm. And I know that the last verse, I presume, is about him going up to heaven, presumably, or wherever he's going. But it's a very strange way to put it.
Okay.
So I know I'm treading carefully here. So bear with me. Let's hear it.
So I'm flying on my bicycle, headed upwards from the earth. I'm jumping with no parachute out into the universe. I had 80 on my bicycle, make us get.
Did you hear it?
That last one, I only just heard it.
It's so weird because he's obviously. So he says, I'm flying up on my bicycle heading upwards from Earth towards the universe. And you're like, okay, so he's died and he's got up to heaven, but that does sound a bit like E.T. and then he just says, I have E.T. on my bicycle. I don't know why.
That completely ruins the whole sentimentality.
It's like, so were you talking about E.T. the whole time? Maybe it was his favorite movie or something.
When I heard it, I thought it was I am eating on my bicycle, which didn't make any sense, but it was less hilarious than that.
Yeah. My assumption was that it was the dude going up to heaven.
Yeah. Just a quick E.T. reference.
Yeah, but with that obviously sounds a bit like E.T., but then he just says, no, that's actually what we're talking about. E.T.'s on my bike. It's the movie. Remember?
I love it. Huge in them.
That's it.
Cool.
That's it. Had to be nitpicky this week, but I still had fun doing it. And that means we are ready for ratings and review.
Do it. Fuck yeah. Welcome back. And here we have the ratings and review section.
It's time for your rating now.
All right.
Yeah.
So
we start with favorite song, don't we?
Yes.
Which means you're going to tell me what your favorite song is. That's what that
I
means.
had two.
Okay, we'll pick one.
I had two.
No, you can pick one and say, I also like this song.
Cry Baby.
Favorite.
Cry Baby favorite. Second favorite, Arabesque.
I could have picked that
Yeah. Well, you didn't.
from you. Very predictable. Do you want to talk about either of those anymore?
We've talked about them already. There's no need to. Cry Baby is a song that every time it came on, it just made me feel good and it's well written, and same with the other songs. So fucking, why'd you ask me that question? Yeah,
They're good songs, idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
I went for Orphans.
Orphans.
In a almost fucking
from
challenging
you.
myself
Huge from
because
you,
I
yeah.
know it's the most like joyous poppy song on the album. But when I found out what it was about, and the more I grew to like it, it really won me over.
Yeah. Well, Max Martin at it again.
Mm-hmm.
Can he
There's
put a
kids. There's goddamn kids.
Yeah.
They got me.
Sick. Yeah, good call. All right.
Least favorite?
Daddy.
Ooh, I know why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. The opening
We haven't
lyrics-
talked about it at all.
We
should.
haven't. What should we?
Yeah, because it's one of the singles.
Okay.
It's one of the songs that everyone's talking about.
Go on then.
Daddy is a song that's written from the child's perspective about the dad basically not being there and the child sort of saying like, are you not interested in me? Why won't you come and play with me? Et cetera, et cetera. For me, I actually quite like it. It would be in the top half for me, but I understand because I almost put it in the Clangers because there is something a little bit off about not a young man singing daddy. I found it a little bit like not troubling. It's not problematic or anything like that. I just mean I found it just like I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that.
It was really
aspect.
jarring, and I just didn't enjoy listening to it. I didn't really like the song as well. It just doesn't help. But it's also like I don't really want to be listening to this guy singing about this. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but I found it kind of touching, and I actually thought this was the song that was maybe the biggest throwback to their past.
Right, okay.
It's very Coldplay to me.
interesting that you could be wrong about that.
Tugging, really tugging those heartstrings.
Pull an ass on heartstrings.
Yeah. Daddy was your least favorite. Mine was that jingly thing that Chris Martin did because it sucks, and I don't know why he included it. Apparently, in the lyrics slip, which I obviously don't have because I'm not going to buy a CD, it says the lyrics aren't finished for this song yet, and he is not wrong. That song is, I don't know why they put it on. It's not good. But yeah,
Cool. All right. How many Friendboys out of 11?
am I going to go first? So when we decided on this album, I literally asked Dale, I texted him straight away and said, is there anything else we can listen to? Because I was so not looking forward to this. I think we've actually done one of their albums before and I hated it.
Yeah. Long story short.
Long story long. Listening to this album was a shock. I actually loved it pretty much from start to finish. I don't even think there are really any really weak songs on it. It's the messages are great. The music is great. I'm not going to rush it. I'm taking my sweet time. I really like it. I've told people that I talk to on a daily basis to listen to it. I think it's worth listening to.
Wow.
And honestly, I'm not a big Coldplay fan. I'm going to give it 10 out of 11. Can you believe it?
I can believe it because that's exactly what I'm going to do.
No.
Yeah.
This is getting too much.
This is fucked up, man.
We need some fresh blood in here because we're just like walking on each other's footsteps.
But
That's
it's
the thing.
true. Like, for an album that is very ambitious in its scope of styles and cultures and everything, it works so well. I'm not the biggest Coldplay fan either, but I just think it's weird and it's also like their 8th album. Usually by the time you've done 8 albums, you've completely run out of ideas. You're
100%.
basically just recycling old methods for the old fans, for like the hardcore fans,
Yeah.
basically, and just having an excuse to go on tour, which they've actually shirked. And
Look
been
at the
like,
Blink-182 album we did. It was just a tired version of what they did 3-4 years
and
ago.
they'll tour that for another year. And
Yeah.
but these guys are like, we're not even going to tour because
Yeah.
we can't do it in the way that we want to do it. But here's an album that we've been working on that we've been working on for over a year.
That they clearly wanted to do. They cared about the message.
Yeah.
They were like inspired by different sources and they nailed it.
This is a really, really good album.
I agree. Yeah.
And as much as I don't like to agree with you on the ratings, like I find that a little bit boring, but like, yeah, what can we say?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I wouldn't give it an 11 because there aren't enough maybe amazing songs that I'll listen to time and time again. But as an experience of listening to, I think 10's pretty.
I could see myself for the rest of my life being like, oh, listen to that album. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. Like I feel really, it's like I would never have listened to it.
Yeah, totally.
So like if you're in that boat and you want something different, because it doesn't sound like anything else that I've heard in a long time, give it a go. Why not?
Fuck.
I'm getting too good at this.
And how lucky are the listeners that they get this kind of insight.
I know.
To such great music. I do have an anonymous letter from a fan.
I didn't read it. I was just my eyes get drawn to a screen. Yes, let's hear it. This is the comment section.
This is the comment section. So,
all right.
Last week
Here we go.
we talked about Doja Cat, and there was a particular song where she made reference to basically masturbating so furiously that her fingers began to cramp.
Someone talked about this. This
Yes.
is hilarious.
So this is an FYI for Jake. I feel like a lot of my friends and I have masturbated till our fingers have cramped.
No.
Because you only use one or two in the same position and in kind of awkward positions. So you get weird, and cramps is definitely a thing.
Well, my world's been blown, and I take back everything I said.
Yeah, exactly. So don't speak about things you don't know about.
I just assumed it couldn't be that different.
Look, the people have spoken.
Well, also that sucks.
That's just
Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. So the other hand in, it's not as good. It's not as good.
Oh, man. But
That
yeah.
is so funny. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh man, that's great.
More of this. More interaction. We love that.
Oh, that's huge.
Like it if you do like it. Subscribe if you don't like it. And tell a friend, tell an enemy.
Always.
Give the gift of Friendboys this Christmas.
Friendboys ship.
Yeah, exactly. Start sharing the love.
Yeah.
As we share our love with you as often as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's it from me. Have you got anything you want to say?
No.
Any more for any more?
Any more? No, I'm good. That was fun.
Fuck. Good album. Go
Yeah.
out and listen to Coldplay's 8th studio album.
And who would have thought we'd be saying that?
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.